Oh, Nintendo, 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 you never disappoint me. Except for the times where you do. Which is pretty often, actually. But you did not disappoint me today. I'm of course referring to the Nintendo Direct that was streamed just a few hours ago. I'm going to be going through that here today and giving you guys my thoughts on it. This is not going to be a scripted video if you couldn't tell already. But yeah, so I guess without further ado, let's just Nintendo do this thing. Sorry. Okay, so first thing Nintendo did was they revealed Kazuya for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which was pretty cool. Initially, I wasn't, too sold on the idea. I would have rather preferred characters like Crash or Rayman or someone, like from a really reputable, like, non-fighting series. But, I'd prefer Kazuya to, like, the Fortnite guy or Master Chief or something like that. He seems to have a pretty weird playstyle. It looks like he has, like, a bunch of different moves. It seems like there's way more than there could possibly be in a Smash game, but obviously they figured out some sort of way to use button combinations or something like that to allow him to have a bunch of different moves, which is pretty cool. But it looks like they followed their trend of giving the downloadable content characters some sort of bar or chargeable energy thing with like his demon mode or whatever that is. I'm not the biggest fan of their like sort of charge up characters that they've been doing recently. It's not like the way that I personally prefer to play. I know that, some people enjoy it and they feel like they have to do like some sort of new style, like something that makes it worthwhile for like a downloadable content character, but it's just not for me. And I've just really never liked this sort of trend that they're going with adding these bars and chargeable abilities and things like that. These really like gimmicky type things with their characters. But we'll see how things turn out when he actually comes out later this month, I believe. It was June 28th, I think. Yeah, so we'll see how things turn out with Kazuya. It does look cool, and I'm happy that it was somebody who, like, really seems like they would, like, work with the Smash universe, at least how it is right now, as opposed to, like, someone, like, from a shooter or something. So, yeah. Okay, next up we had the first batch of Nintendo Switch headlines, which featured a number of games, which were, in the beginning they were... some filler stuff was in there, let's just say that. They had like Guardians of the Galaxy and Worms and stuff like that. But like the real main attraction was like the last two games, which were Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, I believe it was called, and Super Mario Party Superstars, which they both looked really good. As a kid, I never really played Monkey Ball. It was a game that I didn't really know of. Like I had heard of like somewhat, but not really. I didn't really know what it was about. And then when I played it when I like sort of grew up, I really enjoyed the game, and so I'm really happy that I get to play 1 and 2 and Deluxe on the Switch now because I just never had the opportunity as a kid. So that was a really hype announcement. And honestly, it's just a really great thing to see the Monkey Ball series just getting some love after all these years. I know they released, what was it? Banana Blitz a couple of years ago, a remake of that, and people were kind of hesitant to buy that one because it's really considered like one of the lesser of the Monkey Ball games. So then they were asking like, why don't you remake 1 and 2 or remaster 1 and 2? And so that's what they did. I'm actually really happy that they actually decided to do that because that's what everyone was asking for, and that's what people wanted. So that's really cool to see. Now we come to probably at least one of the hypest announcements in this direct for me personally was Mario Party Superstars, which it had 5 boards from Nintendo 64 Mario Party games, and a total of over 100 mini games from like throughout the Mario Party series, which was just like really cool to see. That's what like once again, like what people have been asking for and what people wanted was like a compilation game of Mario Party mini games from previous games and like old boards. So that was really cool to see, and it just looks like a really fun game. They even have like actual online play this time around. Like instead of just friends and like you can't really do what you want to do in online, you can actually do like random matchmaking and things like that. Like that was specifically what I was looking for in a Mario Party game on the Switch, was random matchmaking. So that's just like really, really cool to see. And it also kind of like shows that they were working on online for Mario Party games, and that's probably why they added it to Super Mario Party like so late in the game, because they were working on it for the next game. So that was really interesting. But yeah. If you didn't watch the Treehouse Live event that came after the Direct, they actually showed a decent amount of gameplay from Mario Party Superstars, which was really cool. So if you haven't seen that, I definitely recommend go checking that out. There was like at least, I think it was like 20 minutes at least, maybe a little bit more, of Mario Party Superstars game footage, just them playing around in the game. And there's a lot of really cool stuff to see in there, and the graphics look really good, obviously carrying over from Super Mario Party. I just like, with the remade boards, they all look really, really nice. So if you're interested in that, go check that out. That was really cool. And Mario Party and Super Monkey Ball both come out in October, which is kind of crazy. They're both in the same month. I think there was even some other stuff that comes out in October. It's going to be crazy. Like the last 3 or 4 months of this year are just going to be insane for Nintendo games. I think we've got a couple of other things coming down the road that are also coming out around that time, so I guess we'll get to those when we get to those. Oh yeah, one other thing that I wanted to talk about was that in the Japanese version of the Direct, which is what I was actually watching live, and I'm watching the English version right now, they showed a little bit of footage from Legend of Mana, Seiken Densetsu. I think they might have shown that in an English Direct at some point. I believe they have. But I'm looking forward to that game as well. That was something that they didn't show in the English Direct, but I was really looking forward to that. I just want to talk about that for like 2 seconds. I've never played any of the Seiken Densetsu Mana series games, but I'm really interested in playing like these old style JRPGs right now. But yeah, I actually have a couple on the Super Famicom that I just haven't gotten to yet. But now that they're remaking Legend of Mana on the Switch, I just wanted to check that out. It looks pretty cool. I think, like, based on like what it says on Wikipedia, it's like a spin-off version from the Mana series. It doesn't really follow the same gameplay loop and stuff like that. There's a different strategy and stuff like that. But yeah, it looks pretty cool. So I'm going to be checking that out when it comes out. So yeah, there you go. Alright, and next up we had Metroid Dread, which it wasn't exactly what the Metroid fans were clamoring for. They wanted a little bit more information on Metroid Prime 4, from what I've seen at least. Everyone was asking, oh, when Metroid Prime 4, Metroid Prime 4. But I think you can't really be too mad at this, honestly. It looks like a really, really fun game. I'm not personally like a huge Metroid guy, especially 2D Metroid. I have played a little bit. I think I've played maybe like one of the Metroid games, like through to completion, the 2D ones, and I played a little bit of Prime. But I've never been like a huge Metroid guy, but this game looks really cool. I'll probably be checking it out. It seems like it comes out like once again in October, so that's another game just to add on to the list for October. There's so many games. But yeah, this one looks really cool. It looks like what like a lot of people probably are going to be really happy with, so that was really cool to see. And once again, they did show a little bit of gameplay for this at Treehouse. There was about 22 minutes, I think, of gameplay, and they just sort of went through a couple of areas and levels and showed you some of this, like the normal gameplay, the enemies, stuff like that. It looked really cool. I didn't really catch all of it. I saw like maybe half of it. But yeah, it looks like a really cool game, and watching it actually played out in like live gameplay was really cool. And yeah, it just made me want to check out the game even more. So if you haven't seen that, definitely check that out. Next, we had the second batch of headlines. From here, there was a couple of games that I want to talk about. First, we had Mario Golf. So there was about like 2 to 3 minutes of Mario Golf just information. So a lot of stuff we've seen already, which was not amazing. But towards the end, they said they were going to be doing free updates for Mario Golf over like I guess over the years or whatever, how long it is going to be. And they're going to be adding new courses and characters, which is like, that's great news for me because, especially for like Super Mario Party, where they really just kind of neglected the game. Like you have to admit, they just basically just put it out, and then there was only a couple of boards, not really that much to do in the game. So I actually never even opened mine. Mine's still in the plastic wrap. I played on my brother's version a decent amount, but yeah, I just never even opened mine. So I don't know. I just feel like having that update, like that announcement they're going to be doing updates, is just really good news for just the game in general, like they're going to be doing for Animal Crossing with the free updates that gradually release, like especially for like new characters and courses. That's like pretty much exactly what you'd be asking for. That's what I would want them to release in free updates. So yeah, really excited about that. The game in general just looks really good. I'm super excited for it. I feel like they didn't hold this announcement of Super Mario, Mario Golf Super Rush. They didn't hold it for E3, which kind of like dimmed down the hype just like a little bit. But I think it looks like a really, really fun game. That's another game they showed at the Treehouse Live. It just looks really fun. The gameplay looks really great, and I'm really excited to get it. I don't know if I'm going to get it on release day, because I just don't really want to pay $60, but I don't know. I'm thinking about it. It looks like a really fun game, so I may actually get it on release day. We'll see. And then next, right after that, we had another game that we've seen a decent amount of information about over the last couple of months and about a year, was Monster Hunter Stories 2, which personally I'm actually pretty excited for after seeing some of the gameplay they showed at Treehouse. But I didn't even know what type of game it was. Like, I just like assumed it was just some story-driven Monster Hunter game. But I mean, which it is, obviously, but I didn't know that it was an RPG experience, which I actually am really interested in now after seeing that actual gameplay. The first gameplay they ever showed at Treehouse this year. So I was actually pretty excited for that after I found out how the game actually works. So I might be picking that up at some point. I don't know about, once again, on release date, but we'll see. And the last thing we had from these headlines was WarioWare Get It Together, which was definitely unexpected by me. I did not think they were going to be revealing another WarioWare game, but obviously I couldn't be happier about the announcement. It looks really great. The ability to like pick characters, and they each have like different abilities, and the way you interact with the mini games or micro games, it seems really cool, like a different take on the WarioWare series. And obviously the ability to play with multiple people. I don't know if you can play online. I don't think they mentioned anything about that. I'm actually probably leaning towards you probably won't be able to play online. But it does look really cool. It looks like a really great game, and I know that a lot of people are probably happy to see WarioWare back, so that was really nice. Comes out, what, in September, early September? So again, right in that last three or 4 months of the year. So it's gonna be great. Okay, then after Wario, we had the trailer for Shin Megami Tensei. If you ever want to know the Japanese pronunciation of the title, there it is. But yeah, the 5th version of Shin Megami Tensei. And it looks really cool. I've never actually played any of the games in the series, but I mean, it looks like a cool sort of turn-based RPG, which I've been really into lately, as I said before. So that one looks really nice as well. I like the whole concept of like recruiting monsters for your team and then like fusing them together. The trailer, I think for everybody pretty much, cut out in the middle of the trailer here. But yeah, so I went back and watched the whole thing in the English direct, and yeah, it looks really cool. Yeah, so I don't know if I'll pick it up, but we'll see. It looks cool, so I'll probably at least, if there's a demo, I'll try that out. So it looks cool. We'll see. And now we have the last batch of headlines from Nintendo Switch. There was, it was probably, of the 3 headline sections, this was probably the weakest, maybe, I'd say, probably. I guess it depends on your opinion, but at least for me, that's how it was. I think the first thing we saw that was actually of interest to me was Fatal Frame. That looks kind of cool. I've heard of the series, but I've never really like seen any of the actual gameplay. I've just heard of it. I just heard the name. So actually seeing some gameplay there was pretty cool. It actually looks pretty interesting. I don't know if I'll actually get it, but it definitely piqued my interest a little bit. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 coming back to a Nintendo console was pretty cool to see. I already have the game on PlayStation, I believe, but it was just cool to see it come back to Nintendo after all these years. But yeah, there was that, and then Mario and Rabbids, which we had already seen, I believe, at Ubisoft's press conference and like kind of leaked beforehand. But yeah, so that was, I'm not really I didn't play the first game, but it seemed like there was a lot of like hype around when it was initially announced. So I mean, maybe I'll check this one out. It looks pretty cool, but I guess we'll have to see. And then in the English Direct, they ended with Advance Wars for the 3rd batch of headlines, I believe they're called. Yeah, so that was cool to see. I know there's a lot of people that are really into Advance Wars, so I was just like happy for other people that get to play 1 and 2 rebooted on the Switch. I'll probably get it eventually. It looks really cool. I haven't played any of the other games. It's just, something that I just never got into. It's just one of those series that I just never personally played. But I've always heard great things about it, so maybe now's the opportunity to get into it. It looks really cool, so once again, we'll have to see. They actually didn't show Advance Wars in the Japanese Direct, so I didn't actually find out about this until I looked on Twitter a little bit later. But yeah, so that was cool to see. In the Japanese Direct, they showed a couple of Danmaku games, like the bullet hell games. They didn't show that in the English Direct, so if you want to see those are over there. They also had a couple of other games that weren't in the English version for this batch of headlines. Nothing really too great. What did they have here? Oh yeah, and they had like some other baseball games and like some other smaller games that were just shown a little bit. But yeah. Okay, now we come to the last section of the Direct, which was, you know, it was pretty great. But initially, they just showed the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity expansion pass, when they said, like, oh, here's the next thing, here's the last thing, or whatever. And they just showed the Hyrule Warriors expansion pass, and I think everyone collectively was kind of like, really? This is what you're going to end on? We're not going to show anything else? It was kind of like a little bit of a scary moment there, but then Aonuma came back out, and he was like, oh, we got some other stuff for you. And then they showed the Skyward Sword HD trailer, which, again, we've seen already, so that was, again, like are you going to end on this? And then they showed the Game & Watch Zelda, which I'm actually really excited about personally, if I can actually get my hands on one. They had, what was it, Zelda 1, 2, and then Link's Awakening on the Game Boy, which is really cool. They added that on there. And they had the other Game & Watch game that features Link, so that's really cool. I'm probably going to try to get that. But obviously, the best part about the Direct for me personally was the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer that they showed, that everyone was really, really hoping that they were going to show. It looks super good. I personally went back and like analyzed the whole trailer frame by frame just to see like what they were showing in individual parts. There's one part where Link has like a shield like that shoots flames out of it. Like, what the heck is the deal with that? Like, how does he like go through these? Like, he like swims through like the earth on one part. Like, what the heck? What was going on in this game? It just looks super cool. And the whole thing where they have like, you can go back into the sky like in Skyward Sword, kind of like connecting those two games together now. That's really cool. And obviously this game is being made with the original Breath of the Wild engine, so you already know that there's going to be like great gameplay, and they can just build upon like the great like foundation that they laid out with the original Breath of the Wild. And it looks like that's what they're doing with stuff where you have like the monsters on top of the rock guys, the bokoblins on top of the I forget what the rock guys are called. They have like their bases on top of that, and like they're just gonna, it's gonna be like, what I was thinking was that similar to the way they developed Mario Galaxy 2 off of the original Mario Galaxy. It's just gonna be like a better version of the original Breath of the Wild. So I mean, I'm just super excited for that. I feel like there's no way that you can't be excited for this. I know there's some Breath of the Wild haters out there, but it just looks amazing. Based on what they've shown in this trailer, it seems like there's no Sheikah Slate in this game. Link has like the technology built into his arm, which was like somehow like, I don't even know, they showed like him stuck in that like darkness, like the Ganon darkness stuff. So it seems like he got like some sort of Sheikah technology or something, some sort of upgrade to his arm to like allow him to do like the freeze time and whatever from the original game with just his arm. So that's really cool to see. Can't wait. Obviously, it's going to be amazing. They announced that it's going to be coming out in 2022. So not this year, obviously, but they're aiming for 2022. If it does get pushed back, I wouldn't honestly be that surprised. But I'm excited. I think there's no way that you can't be excited for this game just based on that trailer that we've seen. But yeah, so that looks great. And I think that pretty much does it here. We talked about basically everything that was in the Direct except for a couple of games that were kind of just like, you know, filler games or just like not as important Nintendo products. But yeah, so basically went through that. That was fun. I hope you guys had fun as well. This is probably going to be released early on Wednesday morning, so I don't know when my next video is going to be coming out. I actually have one that I recorded just yesterday, so that will probably be coming out either Thursday or Friday, or I don't know, depending on how I'm feeling, I may just move it to next week. If you guys want to see that earlier, just let me know, and then I'll probably just have it done by tomorrow, honestly, but I don't know, I'm still thinking about it. We'll see what happens. If there's enough people that like want to see it earlier, it's about it's going to be a review of The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons, so it's actually kind of honestly links pretty well with links pretty well with the Direct we saw today. So maybe I'll release that tomorrow. We'll see. But yeah, depending on when that gets done, it's going to be like pretty long. It's going to be like over 20 minutes, so it might take a little while to edit, but we'll see about that. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, consider giving it a like. It always is greatly appreciated and helps me out a ton. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, consider subscribing as well. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you in the next one. Ack out. Seriously, how does he swim through the earth like that? He's like Senor Pink from One Piece or something. That's a pretty specific reference, but if you got it, you got it.